for, no quarter doing that as well. I believe that would be the best course of action to currently take, is just reset the server first.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure there's been North American guilds that have done it.
Yeah,
They should just reset the server
Maximation
first.
tried to do it to Breaking Bad's on Achilles, but we beat him to Achilles before they could transfer, so. I mean, this has been happening, for, what, a year and a half. This is nothing new at all. People are acting like it is, but this has been going on forever.
Yeah. Oh well, so I mean that's that. I mean that's out of our controls now. If other guilds choose to do it, Tryon can't really do anything. You left it in your game. It's you can do it. What do you want us to do? Not do it and be fucking white knights? This is the internet. What do you expect?
It's
Pretty
not
much.
violating anything, and it's even encouraged kind of because they haven't done anything.
Yeah, they haven't done like there was a patch today. If there was that big of a deal, they would have fucking done it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, the next topic, I guess it'll flow nicely with all the rating talk. 2.2 was put on a PTS recently, and along with it, they put 4 hard modes up for testing. Anyone can go up there and test these hard modes. The 2 hard modes from Frozen Tempest are the first 2 bosses, Galidra and Xaviel, and from Endless Eclipse, Progenitor, Satos, and Cain the Reaper. And I gotta say, from experiencing some of them, they're not tuned to be hard mode. They're not really hard. They're beatable. There's a few bugs here and there that we reported, but the addition of the extra mechanics, not so much on the Endless Eclipse ones, but Galidra and Xaviel were pretty nice changes. It made it so, for example, on normal mode, Galidra, you can pretty much stack your raid in one position. You can't do that to a certain extent on the hard mode one. And the same thing with Xaviel, you can't stay in one spot the whole fight. Did you guys in Addiction go and test these out? What did you guys think?
Yeah, we did. We actually weren't able to do Glider just simply because of our makeup. We didn't have any cleric tanks or any rogue tanks, so it was just kind of fucked at that point. On and off topic though, they did say they already have buffed it on the PTS. I think it's already live. I'm not sure, because from the feedback they got, it was too easy. I'm not sure if you saw that post or not, so I'm kind of looking forward to see what they did.
Yeah, the new developer, I guess he's a new raid developer called Zizzo, and I'm not sure if Halvon was a raid developer before.
I
I've seen him
recognize
post
his
around.
name. I believe he was. I'm not 100% on that, but I recognize the name.
I know he's been a dev, but I'm not sure if he was a raid
Oh, a
dev.
raid dev. Okay, yes.
Yeah, so Zizzo did the Progenitor and Galidra, and the other guy did Cain and Xaviel. And for one of the changes they said they were going to do is to Xaviel was make the hard mode activate easier, because right now it's really crapshoot whether it activates or not.
Yeah, I sent that in. That was most of the feedback I gave. Is honestly, we spent more time trying to activate the hard mode and wiping due to failing at it than actually attempting the boss.
Yeah, I think we got 4 clean pulls.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We probably pulled it 4 or 5 times and probably wiped 10 or 15 times, whether it bugged or it just wouldn't activate, or a person would get like arc wielded trying to pull the lever.
They really, I mean, the way the Galidra one with the shield on the dude, that's the way to go. Like, do that. Don't
Yeah.
don't fuck with the lever.
Yeah. Just
Well,
make this-
I also said if they really wanted to do a lever, they could make it really boring and just put a lever at the very start of the boss that just says activate hard mode.
Yeah.
How would that be a bad idea though? Like a lot of hard modes in WoW are done that way.
It
Push a
wouldn't be.
button.
I mean, yes, it's a boring implementation, but it works and it's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it took us about 30 minutes to kill Progenitor on hard mode. Like, it was an absolute joke. We sent in that feedback, they buffed it, I don't know what the hell they've done since then. We went to Cain, though, and, after them saying it's obvious how to activate the hard modes, we attempted it 3 or 4 times and then stopped for the night because we couldn't figure it out, and apparently it's just a DPS race. That's what they said. and that's pretty disappointing. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm hoping they change stuff. There's been a lot of feedback on the forums about that particularly. So I really do hope it's not just, can you kill it, in X amount of time to get extra loot? Because there's a lot of problems that can crop up with that. Like if it's a 4-minute timer, what happens if you kill it at 4:01? You're just fucked. It should be a legit hard mode.
Yeah, I agree. Added mechanics or something, because that's just really lame and kind of a cop-out. Or definitely a cop-out.
Yeah, and it's not even obvious. You don't know if you're doing it or not because you don't even know it's activated. That's why we didn't do it, is because there was no indication whatsoever of how to activate the hard mode or if it was even active. So we just said, oh, it's not working, and we stopped.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we did notice is there was like a little chest on the right-hand side, and we tried everything to like interact with it, and we couldn't find a way.
We didn't go up there, but yeah, that's lame. Change, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping they do something.
Yeah. I also hope that that's not the only one that they're gonna release. Like I really want them.
I hope they do hard modes for every boss, but it's just they have to balance new content with the hard modes. I don't know. Well, I'm sure they are developing new raids at the moment. They just can't talk about it or release anything. But it's just, I guess, a balance of new content versus hard modes. The hard mode shouldn't necessarily require that much work. I mean, Galidra would be a little bit more work because you do have to balance it around, another ad and a lot more mechanics. But if you just add in mechanics, more DPS checks and a couple of other things, it's really not that much extra.
Yeah, you're not adding that much. You're just making a little bit,
Yeah, the boss is already done. Just tune it and add 1 or 2 things.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, I was thinking about this the other night. I think the hard modes are like, they're angry that people are doing the bosses in a specific way that avoids mechanics or avoids something, and so the hard modes are like retaliation because of that. Because like you look at Galidra, you see those giant AoEs that pop up, and nobody ever gets near those. Like no one ever gets hit by those because you just don't stand on them. It's just like you can stack in one place. And then Xaviel, it's like all this shit's all over the place because you have to move around, and you don't just stack. And it's like more anti-stacking mechanics, which I think is good.
And on Galidra too, there's, instead of 2 circles, there's 4, so they can cover a good amount of the room. But you see those things going side to side. You can predict where they're going to spawn, so you can move preemptively, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes away a lot of the, okay, just stack here and shoot stuff at this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy after that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good because you can really weed out some derps from that. And there's no way these hard modes are even before this supposed buff, they weren't going to be done by regular guilds, like the guilds that are still struggling on Crucia and like Matriarch. After this buff, these hard modes are going to be pretty much exclusive to the top tier guilds. And then once the new tier is released, then the other guilds can go back and complete their relic sets.
Yeah.
Even if they want to do that, because I mean, once a new tier comes out, I mean, this is going to be the only 2 raids of this tier. Once a new tier comes out, that gear is going to be irrelevant, so they might not even want to do that. It all depends what the mentality of this new guy, Daglar, that's taken over Scott's job is, because he might have a different mentality of, I want normal modes for everyone, and then hard modes for the 1%. Whereas Scott's mentality was, I want normal modes and hard modes for everyone. Like, I want hard modes to be beatable by, the very last people.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is, I also did post this in the thread, that it was my understanding that they wanted normal modes to be beatable by everyone, which is why a lot of the content was, viewed fairly easy as a lot of, these guilds. And then the hard modes should be what's actually difficult and what these guilds get stuck on. And the, so-called not hardcore guilds, that haven't killed Regulost yet, it would just be downright impossible and a complete waste of time. I mean, they have their content, we have our content. That's how it should be. I mean, we blow through the normal modes, we should, have trouble with the hard modes. If we have trouble with the hard modes, they're never going to kill them. Everything's fine because they're still working on the old content. I mean, people are still going to bitch, but I still think that's a decent implementation. It just comes into the problem of, the whiners saying, oh, I pay $15 a month and all that shit. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're always going to have that argument that people that pay the $15 say they want to see the full content. They don't want to be limited because of their skill or whatever. But at the same time, you are limited because of your skill. If you want better skill and you want to see this content, you can get better skill. You can join a better guild, Like, Trina's not putting a block on your account saying you can't access this.
Yeah, I don't know. People are just going to always complain, it seems. And it just depends on the company itself how they want to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing is that, like, tiers, even with the old development team, tiers had a good amount between them. The time between HK and ID being ridiculous. That was the most memorable for me.
That was terrible.
Now with this short, I guess smaller team, how the hell are they gonna release like another tier unless it's like one 10-man in 3 months from now, and then another 20-man, 6 months from then, which would make it, 3, 9. It would make it almost a year, more than a year after Storm Legion launched. Like, that would be super, super bad for this raid community, especially when you have Elder Scrolls Online coming soon. You might have info about the new Blizzard MMO coming out. You'll be 1 year closer to the next EQ, which will definitely have rating. That they just better realize that their players are not going to stick around because of loyalty or this or that. If they're not having fun with their subscription money, they're going to take it elsewhere.
Yeah, a lot of people do raid in this game. Like, they do, and it's probably not the majority that raid, but at least have as much as we do. But it's a good amount of people and a good amount of their customers.
Yeah, even the super casuals raid.
The thing is, though, is that the casuals are still going to be progressing on Regulos for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And it's a very small minority. It is just we are the 1% of people who, already have this content on farm and, are just waiting for new content at this point. So, I mean, it's up to them whether they want to neglect us or not. I mean, raiding guilds have taken a dive since, pre-Storm Legion. I mean, with Voodoo and Maximation, Breaking Bads, all those top guilds gone, I think it mostly went down a tier. It's just kind of stepped down in skill level, and it just kind of makes me worry what's going to happen if that happens again, and then again, and then again. I mean, the really bad guilds are now going to be the best guilds. What is going to happen?
Yeah, the day that fucking Deadly Omen becomes the best guild in Raid, that shit's gonna go down. But what about like this guy? Okay, so another thing that we found out between 2.0 and 2.1 was that during those layoffs, 2 class devs were relieved of their duties. We don't know if they were fired, but they might have been reassigned to other duties. Atreus and Zimbic, who were the warrior and cleric dev, they were I would say probably reassigned to other areas of Rift development, and now Aelion is in charge of the rogues and warriors, and Kurvik is in charge of clerics and mages. So far, they're doing a pretty good job of trying to fix everything that was fucked up with these classes. But, they're never going to get it perfect. There's going to be at least one player out there that thinks their class sucks as good as they do. Do you guys think Aelion is doing a good job? And do you think those 2 guys are doing a good job taking over?
I honestly don't know, because pretty much all of the changes currently that have not been Atreus are all DPS changes that I've 100% overlooked.
I think that Kerrick's doing a good job on clerics, just because shaman needs a buff like crazy, and that's what he's doing. He's buffing shamans to like